Hello, I'm Svitek, 360 Creative Coach, and in this episode, I want to talk about a way to grow, right? Now, before I fully get into it, I would like to take the opportunity to invite you to subscribe if you haven't already. That way you get all the various lessons and episodes that I put out right when I put them out. Thank you if you just did, and thank you if you already were. It truly does mean a lot to me, as I hope it does to you. So let's get into this, right? I imagine you're listening to someone like me because, you want to develop and continue in your progress, right? Well, one of the ways that you can do this, and I'm going to cite people like Tony Robbins, Seth Godin as far as this, is to expand your identity or change it or get rid of something, right? So what do I mean by this? Well, let's take someone like Seth Godin, right? Seth Godin is pretty much like the pinnacle of just someone who's an amazing mentor, coach, whatever you want to term him as far as content creation is concerned. And one of the things that he says is just if you want to do something, just label yourself as that, right? So if you want to be a YouTuber, don't just say, I want to be a YouTuber. Just say, I am a YouTuber, right? Meaning what it does is it eliminates the tiny little decisions then that might happen every day of like, oh, do I want to make this YouTube video or not? It doesn't matter whether you want to or not because you've already labeled yourself as, yes, I am a YouTuber, therefore I have to put out this video, right? Now, and in that way, you've made it part of your identity, right? And so that's a key factor to it, right? Like literally in that way, start to see yourself as those things because, once you do that, you expand your identity, you can grow. And there's a wonderful episode with Tony Robbins and Lewis Howes where Tony really talks about this in a way that only Tony can, right? It's about like 3 minutes out of the entire thing, but you get everything out of it in that way of we just think of ourselves as small, right? In that way, like it's almost like limiting beliefs in a way where we don't think that we're capable of X, Y, and Z. But when we just adopt the identities of what we feel like where we want to be, it's not a fake it till you make it type of thing, but then you start to, okay, like I said, like with, being a YouTuber and what Seth Godin's talking about, you start to embody those. And, what it really is eliminating 1,000 daily decisions by just committing to one, right? So here's a sort of example for you, right? As opposed to like, okay, I want to work out more and be healthier, which then becomes like a daily struggle of like, okay, I'm tired. Do I want to go on a run today? Do I want to do this? Like it becomes too easy to, in that state, make a choice of yes or no. And more often than not, you might end up saying no because again, you're fighting an uphill battle type of thing. As opposed to like, you know what? I'm going to commit to being a healthy person, right? And these are the things as part of that I will get to do, right? And when you really embody that, it becomes so much easier. And then you are those things. Now, that might be an oversimplification. It might sound, whoa, that's like way too easy. But it's like anything in life. You have to start by identifying it and sitting with it. And when you do that, there's a part of you in your brain, it just shifts. It clicks, right? In that sense, that's what, like when we talk about words as being important, especially on the unconscious and subconscious levels, your mind can't tell the difference between, sarcasm, truth or lies. And in that way, so why wouldn't you want to feed it the stuff that you're trying to go for as opposed to ideas like I'm a loser or whatever else, right? Negative self-talk, instead have intention with what you want to identify as and go after those, right? Make those part of your being by just saying like, okay, this is what I identify as opposed to negative self-talk, right? Becomes a lot more healthier. Now, in the vein of, let's say, James Cameron, he says like, hey, listen, if you make your goals astronomical, well, guess what? Even if you fail a lot higher than even people who think small and succeed, right? I'm paraphrasing, but that's the sentiment, right? So, it's also knowing that aspect of it. Like, hey, pick an identity, right? That you want to embody. And then even if you stumble, it's okay. Have grace with yourself, because it's okay at the end of the day, right? So that's what I have for you today. I hope it helps and is of benefit to you in your life and progressing you forward and growth. Thank you as always. If you have comments or questions, well, write them down below or hit me up on social media at Svitek. I would love to hear from you. Likewise, if you appreciate what I do and would like to interact more directly, well, that's what my Patreon page is for. Patreon.com/PhilSvitek. That's where there's various tiers and we can interact and so forth, and I can be of more direct help. Also, if you like what I do and want to support me, well, I have my creative work out there through movies and books and so forth. All of that stuff is linked to in the description. Supporting that stuff help support this, because then it's a symbiotic relationship, and things that I learned from my own journey I can share with you freely and help you, right? That's the goal of all of this. Anyway, thank you so much. I appreciate you and hope to see you next time.